And we're back. Back with 50 more facts that'll leave you speechless. There's super yachts sold on eBay, Nigerian princes that really aren't that bad at grammar, and even one about Google renting out goats. Yeah, goats. So let's get to it. Here are 50 crazy facts that'll leave you speechless. Have you ever wondered why your nose runs when you cry? You've got small holes in your eyelids called puncta. Tears drain through these holes and end up coming right out of your nose. This shouldn't come as a surprise, but a man legally named Santa Claus was elected to the city council in North Pole, Alaska. Next time you buy a coffee, ask the staff member for a coffee clutch, a Java jacket, or a paper zarf. They might give you an odd look, but you can go on to explain that this is the name for the cardboard sleeve that prevents those fingers from burning. Now, how would you describe a zebra? Something about 4 legs, black stripes? Well, you'd be surprised to know that this isn't quite right. Zebras are actually black with white stripes. Wearing headphones for more than 30 minutes really isn't good for your ears. In fact, covering your ears for an hour leads to a 700% increase in the production of bacteria. It's not possible for an ant to fall to its death. It's simply too small and the terminal velocity is too low that it can theoretically survive from any height. The budget for James Cameron's Titanic was more than it cost to build the actual Titanic. Your kitchen sponge is probably the dirtiest thing you own. It's dirtier than your average toilet seat. But don't worry, a sponge only has about 200,000 times more bacteria. The face with tears of joy emoji was the 2015 Oxford Dictionary Word of the Year. This is the first time they chose a pictograph instead of an actual word. Bird's nest soup is a delicacy in China. The nest is formed from the hardened strands of a male swiftlet's saliva. It can cost up to $4,000 per pound. The mushroom power-ups in Super Mario are modeled off a hallucinogenic and poisonous mushroom. There's even been reports of Super Mario-obsessed kids eating the mushrooms and not feeling that great. Germany has a swearing hotline that's staffed 7 days a week. It's pretty self-explanatory. People literally just call up to swear. But be careful because swearing is expensive. A 10-minute vent will cost you €15. The term essential oils just means that the oil gives off a distinctive scent. They're really not essential for anything. Google rents out goats, 200 goats, to chomp through the grass at their Mountain View headquarters. The word robot has some dark ties. It originated from the Czech word robota, meaning forced labor or work. Despite what you've been told, no, cracking your knuckles doesn't cause arthritis. 97% of people type words in Google search, not to search for anything specific, just to check if they spelt the word right. A jiffy is a real measurement. Next time you say you'll be back in a jiffy, try saying you'll be back in 10 milliseconds. See if you get the same response. CAPTCHA stands for Completely Automatic Public Turing Test to tell computers and humans apart. Man, that is a full-on acronym. The most expensive item sold on eBay was a 405-foot, $168 million super yacht. London's black cab drivers sit a test called the Knowledge. They memorize 320 routes, thousands of street names, and have to pass 12 separate exams. But guess how long it takes to pass the Knowledge? 4 years. That email you received from the Nigerian prince may have been written poorly on purpose. The poor spelling, grammar, and punctuation helps filter out those less gullible. Couples who spend more on their weddings are more likely to get divorced. This also applies to money spent on engagement rings. Japanese fugu chefs train for over 3 years to be able to prepare and cook the delicacy that is the pufferfish. In 1986, Puma released a fitness tracking sneaker called the RS Computer Shoe. It was the first wearable digital sport product ever. An item regarded as vintage is generally accepted to be between 20 to 100 years old. Retro, on the other hand, is an item of clothing created at any time, but in the style of a previous decade. Los Angeles' full name is actually quite a bit longer than simply Los Angeles. It's, well, this. I'm not even gonna try. The Bahrain International Circuit is in the middle of a desert. So you might ask, what about all the sand? Won't it get all over the track? Well, no, it doesn't. It's glued down with a spray-on adhesive. Snails have teeth, up to 14,000 of them. Those famous stone heads on Easter Island actually have bodies. The tallest spans about 10 meters high and weighs 86 ton. Surprisingly, hippos can't swim. Their bodies are just so dense that they sink. When you see them moving through the water, they're just literally walking and bouncing across the floor. Trees talk to each other through an underground network of fungi that connects their roots. This network is commonly known as the Wood Wide Web. In 1995, before anyone thought the internet would take off, you could register a domain name for free. NASA accidentally sold the original Apollo 11 moon landing tapes, the very same ones that captured Neil Armstrong's first steps on the moon and his famous words, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." The tapes had been mislabeled and classified as surplus, selling at an auction for $217. Studies have shown that people read 25% slower on a screen compared to a printed page. This is odd because we also blink less, which causes people to develop computer vision syndrome, where their eyes become blurred and tired. When they're flying, pilots and co-pilots eat completely different meals. This is a critical safety measure, so if one of them gets food poisoning, the other won't. The brain doesn't feel pain because its tissue doesn't have any pain receptors. This is why neurosurgeons can perform brain surgery while the patient is still awake. There's a town in New Mexico named Truth or Consequences. It was previously called Hot Springs, but they changed it in 1950 to win a radio contest. There's a fruit that looks like a strawberry, but tastes just like a pineapple. That fruit is a pineberry. Shakespeare invented the name Jessica. It first appeared in The Merchant of Venice. Some people say your ears never stop growing. Well, they're wrong. It's just the cartilage getting weaker and the skin getting saggier. This is why elderly people often appear to have way larger ears. Canada's University of Victoria previously ran a course called The Science of Batman. Students learn about the science of the human body through everyone's favourite caped crusader. The longest tapeworm ever found in a human was 8.8 meters long. They removed it from a 40-year-old man's intestines and put it on display at a Tokyo museum. Dr. Seuss's Green Eggs and Ham only contains 50 distinct words. His publisher bet him that he couldn't write an engaging children's book with only 50 words. If you step into a hair salon in North Korea, make sure you've decided which one of the 28 government-approved hairstyles you're after. Let's hope bald is one of the 28. You can actually stay at Luke Skywalker's home. A night at the Hotel City Driss in Tunisia will only set you back $30. The Unclaimed Baggage Center is a store in Alabama that sells, you guessed it, lost and unclaimed luggage. It's the only store of its kind in the US. The Japanese railway system runs to a strict schedule. One company had to give a formal apology after their train departed the station 20 seconds early. The Leaning Tower of Pisa was never meant to lean. The soft ground just couldn't support its weight. The most expensive burger in the world is the Golden Boy. The Japanese A5 Wagyu, champagne battered bun and outrageous toppings of truffles and caviar will set you back a cool $6,000. And that's another 50 facts done. This is the time when I normally harp on about not forgetting to leave a like and subscribe, but I'm not going to do that this time. I mean, how could you possibly forget to subscribe? You literally hear it on every video. I guess if you had the memory of a goldfish, but actually, no. One last fact. The memory of a goldfish is really much longer than everyone thinks. I'm talking months and years long. But if you're up for it and just haven't had your fill of facts, check out some of my other fact videos. There's plenty more to keep those neurons firing. But for today, that's all I've got. So thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.